Hi everybody, Hellcracks here, and welcome to another episode of Thoughts from the Inner Sphere. And today in episode 177, we'll be talking about the Battlemaster. Yes, the Battlemaster. It's a iconic mech. It's one of my favorite assault mechs. I've been using this thing forever and a day because it's been around forever and a day. And I think this version, this one you're seeing the pictures of, is my lead. Yes, it's made out of lead. It's like heavy. Really heavy. Something that if you put it in a sling and whipped it across the battlefield, you could probably kill an enemy soldier with. But yes, the Battlemaster is one of those mechs that, well, this one here, the 3M we're going to be talking about, is the one that's been upgraded basically from what, the 1G. It's pretty much, you take the 1G and this is what they've done with it to put some new technology on it from House Merrick. And I don't mind it too much. There's some ways I look at it and say I would have changed a few things, but here we go. You have a 460 mech, has 18 double heat sinks. Yes, 18 double heat sinks. So they took what they had on board already and just swapped it out for doubles. You know, the only problem with this mech is that it's oversynced. You don't necessarily need to use all 18. You kind of like either you fire the PPC, which is an ER PPC, or you can fire all the other mediums. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. It has 232 points of armor, which is roughly what 31 points short. So basically 2 tons short of maximum, which could probably be taken care of with a little ferrofibrous armor if it had it. And then we're getting into the weapon systems. Yes, we have one ER PPC in the right arm, which, you know, it had a standard PPC. Now it has an ER PPC. So you go from 10 heat to 15. But hey, you got 36 heat you can dissipate. So if you subtract your 2, if you're running, you got 34. So if you subtract that off, you're left with 19. So it works out pretty decently. So yes, this thing could really pump out some good firepower. It has 2 medium lasers in the left torso and 1 medium laser facing to the rear with the gears in case somebody gets on your 6. Then you have 2 more in the right torso facing forward and 1 more facing to the rear. So you get 6 medium lasers, but only 4 typically are going to be used at any one time. No, that's not bad. And then you have the machine gun in the left arm with a ton of ammo. You don't need a ton of ammo for 1 machine gun. That's just ridiculous. And then you have an SRM-6 in the left torso with 30 rounds of ammunition. So 2 tons. Yeah. Why? I don't know. But it does. So, but the wonderful thing is it does have it backed up with case. Okay, so there you go. Now, the one interesting thing is that you have the machine gun ammo, then you have the 2 tons of ammo for the SRM backed up by case. So just in case somebody just pumps around in, if that floating crit, you have 3 chances right there to hit some ammo. And it seems a bit ridiculous that machine gun ammo can blow up an entire mech completely, but you know, I guess in this game they didn't think about that much. But you know, you do have that. Personally, if you're going to run I would go with a half ton of machine gun ammo and then still keep maybe the second machine gun. All right, so you have 2 at least. My preference is just replace that machine gun with a flamer. I'd rather have that myself than you have to worry about the ammo. You got plenty of tonnage right there you can play with. Now, how do I like to use this mech? If I had a choice, to me this is just an upgraded 1G. So when you're closing in, you have that ER PPC that shoots out a good distance, 23, and you can pump a 10-point block here or there if you hit with it, if you got a good pilot on board. Typically, I find that unless you're shooting something like a slow-moving tank or another pig, like it's a 3.5 mover, it doesn't have hardly any modifiers on it. The odds are you're probably not going to do too much damage in the long range until you get into the medium range. Then yes, then there you go. You'll be able to start doing some damage. And then when you get into within 9, then you're adding in all the other weapon systems. So you have, let's say you're firing forward, you got the 4 medium lasers, there's 12. You got the SRM, there's 16. And then you add the PPC, that's 31. And then if you run, that's 33. So it's still over synced. So I personally think they could have dropped off another heat sink on this thing, maybe drop it down to 17 or even 16 and still been flying around. And hey, wait a minute, if you went with 16, what do you got? That's 2 tons. There's your maxed out armor on this thing. So I would probably have done that. Just with heat sinks alone, you would have been able to put more armor on this. And I like that idea of having more armor on my mechs. So it keeps them alive a little bit longer. So you got a little bit chance of not dying as quickly. But, you know, I always said that if you had a choice here, it's like you get this machine gun on board. I would personally, if you're going to have one machine gun, I'd rather go with a flamer. You got 1/2 tons wrapped up in that thing just to kill infantry with. And it's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to just take that 1/2 tons and to use 1 ton of it for a flamer, and then that gives me another 1/2 ton to toss in for more armor. Okay, so you got that. That's one of the thoughts that go through my head. And then we definitely know that there's no reason to be carrying around 2 tons of ammo for that SRM-6. Yeah, you can probably, once it gets in range, you'll be firing it every turn probably. Most likely, because this thing's over synced, you're not worrying about heat unless you get hit with infernals or something. And then, oh geez, I go up a little bit on the heat scale. Whoop-de-doo. That just means I might not fire a medium laser or something the next turn. So, you something to think about. So, if I had an extra ton, oh, let's see, what would I do with an extra ton? Hey, I would be looking at either, like, once again, maybe adding another flamer or another medium laser, or more armor, or hey, if you have access to it, a C3 slave, throw that in the cockpit for the command. That would be something to really do. So basically what I'm trying to say is, and I'll probably take 1 or 2 of those ER medium lasers that are firing to the rear, and maybe even flip them around, at least one of them to the front. So if we do that, let me see what we can come up with. Let's just see here. What will pop up here? Ah, here we go. We have a mech. Let's see. Close that. We could have a mech that has an ERPPC in the right arm. You got 3 medium lasers in each torso. You got an SRM-6 with case. And you put ferrofibrous armor on this thing. You could be running 260 points of armor out of the 263. And you could have a Guardian ECM and a C3 slave. Yeah, you actually save a lot of tonnage just by going with ferrofibrous armor. So that would be something I would always do. Just throw some ferrofibrous armor on board. Hey, there you go. Now, if you really don't like the idea of this thing being over synced and you're thinking about, what could I do? And just think about it is like, I'm only going to be firing the PPC at the long range, and when I get in closer, I'll still use a PPC and maybe a few of the medium lasers, but when I get in close, shut off the PPC, and then I'm using all those medium lasers and an SRM. I could actually maybe think about knocking off a few of those, 4 of those heat sinks, so you're down to 14 doubles. So now you're not overly synced, but then you're looking at, it's like, okay, 18, 22, 24 heat to 26 heat. You know what? You put jump jets on it. So you got a 464 Battlemaster running around. And this would actually turn into a little bit better of a city fighter. And getting in close so it can displace and get over terrain a little bit better. So this is something I've done before. Is basically you take a 1G and upgrade it with some new technology like ferrofibrous armor, put a C3 slave on, ECM when you get a hold of it, and you still got the SRM6, and then you still have the medium laser. So basically all you've done is just add a little bit of technology on board and not use all those heat sinks that normally would have and put jump jets on. You know, so I like the idea of it being a really mobile mech. And you're still able to dissipate all of your short range weaponry, and you can still fire your long range weapon and not worry about heat. So it's a nice little balance when it comes to that mech. So that's something I've used many times. A lot of people don't like seeing it coming down the pipe or the battlefield, and if we would have had a chance to pick up a Battlemaster in our current campaign, guess what? It'd look just like this. So just some thoughts to think about. Now that we got all that fun and stuff out of the way, there are some different versions of this mech running around. We have the 3M DC. This one has a command console on board, so drops and medium fire and lasers for a command console. Yeah, okay. Not very often that you ever use the rear firing medium laser, so it's not really degrading the firepower too much. But personally, I would probably dump the machine guns and the ton of SRM instead. Personally, you know, that's where I would, or some double heat sinks, a couple of them. All right, then we got the 3S. This one uses more of the technology from the Federated Commonwealth. It still has standard heat sinks, but removed the half a ton of armor with the PPC and one of the machine guns, and it still retains the SRM6 and changes them to an XL engine and an LRM-20 and a whole passel of medium pulse lasers. So you got 4 facing forward and 2 to the rear. So it still has that configuration of mediums now pulse lasers. So if somebody gets in close within 6, then you got all those pulse lasers, and then you got an LRM. Technically, the firepower is a little bit better, but I'm never been a fan because, hey, this thing got XL engines on the 3S. Not a fan, not at all. Never have been. Then we got the 4L. This came out we're talking 30 years down the pipeline here. From the Compelling Confederation. This is with stealth armor, has Guardian ECM, and it has a Light Gauss rifle, an MML-7, supported by a light PPC, ER medium lasers in each torso, and carries 3 jump jets. Alright, and a light fusion engine. Okay, if you're going to put in fusion in, a light, go with the light over the XL. But this one, I've played with it once at Gen Con, and then I never was enamored with it. It just didn't seem to get the job done for me. I don't know what it was, but it just didn't work so well. But, you know, your mileage may varied with this mech. You know, it's like you have certain mechs that just fit your play style, and when you have your play style, it's like you can make something work really good, and if you have something that doesn't fit you're spending more time trying to figure out how to make it work. And by that time, the game's over. Then we have the Battlemaster 4S. This 4S variant is a new look on the old one, which is now the 3S becomes the 4S. Came out in 3062, powered by a light fusion engine. Okay, get rid of the XL for light. Okay, that's a decent movement. It adds 13.5 tons of ferrofibrous armor. All right, yeah, so let's do a quick look here. 13.5 tons of ferrofibrous armor is it's a ton less than what mine. So you're still looking at a little bit more armor. So I think it's you're looking at 100 and close to the same thing. What the other one is. And it comes with a slingshot Gauss rifle in the right arm. Alright, so, okay, that's a little bit upgrade in firepower over the ERPPC, fed by 3 tons of ammo, and then you have 4 ER medium lasers and 2 medium lasers, basically, so you have a little bit farther range with it. And then the SRM-6 with 2 tons of ammo with an Artemis fire control on board. So let's see, by 3062, when did the streak? And I was thinking streak 6 might have been a better deal with that. Then it carries 2 small pulse lasers and case. All right, so case is decent. So I don't know if it says, if I look here real quick, if the 4S pops up here. No, I don't have the, oh, there it is. All right, let's see if that will come up. It has case in each torso. No, still in the left torso. So if your Gauss rifle goes off, and it's going to pump right into your, but you know, you get hit in the ammo, you're going to take 2 engine hits right off the bat anyway. So now I don't understand the use of small pulse lasers over using just a medium pulse laser instead. One of those things that make you scratch your head. Alright, then we got the 5M. Okay, this one hat. Alright, this is the Light Gauss rifle version. It's the 3M, which we have been talking about. So they got rid of the PPC for Light Gauss rifle, backed up by an ER large laser for long range engagement. So your firepower is actually increased a little bit, and not quite. You know, you got a little bit. You get some decent range with it. And then it carries 6 ER medium lasers, so your medium range, you know, has gone from 9 up to 12. And then you have 2 rear facing, which are 2 rear facing. So it's a standard configuration. This came out in 3067. So this is kind of a twist on the 3M. So yeah, it's a little bit different. And you have the 6C, the Regular Hussars. Alright, so this has 4 light AC5s, 2 in each torso, retains a small pulse laser in the left arm. And then it has a streak 6. Okay, finally somebody's putting a streak 6. And if you have a choice, you got the extra tonnage right there. So if you're carrying around 2 tons of ammo, you just take 1 ton of ammo and upgrade it to a streak 6. That's just like kind of a no-brainer to me. And then you have 4 tons of autocannon ammunition in the torsos, and for actually can carry special munitions. Alright, so that, and it has a command console also. The special munitions on board, so if you got 4 tons, you put 2 standard and 2 special. So you have a lot of choices when it comes to what you want to put down range. So I was like, oh, the situation dictates I'm just going to use standard ammunition. Oh, I want to try to do some armor piercing, or something of that nature. So you got some choices. And then you got the 6G, which has a light fusion engine with 15.5 tons of armor. Okay, 16 doubles, so they've downgraded the heat sinks. And then you have carries around a heavy PPC. I'm not a big fan of heavy lasers or heavy PPCs. Carries around 2 light PPCs, supplemented by a streak 6. Okay, 1 ton of ammo, and case 2. Each torso carries an ER small laser to cover the rear, and 2 small pulse lasers in the left arm for anti-infantry. Alright, so yeah. At least they're doing the light fusion engine aspect of it. I'm not sure if they have the, let me see if I got the 6G come up here. Do I got the 6G? No, I don't have the 6G. Not in my configuration I got right now. So let us move on. So I can't really remember if you have enough so you could put ferrofibers on. Well, oh, this one has Indo steel. Duh, sorry. I missed that. So yes, you do have some extra tonnage playing around. So if you had a choice between Indo steel or ferro, go with Indo steel. You get more bang for your buck that way. And then you have the 6M, which is a variant of the command model. of the 5M uses a Thunderbolt launcher and a heavy PPC to provide the main firepower. So it's just kind of a weapons upgrade / cross move. Then you got the 6X, which come out in 3085. Use the experimental XXL engine to boost ground speed. So a little bit fast. And has Indo-Steel chassis for savings. Allows the Battlemaster to carry an ER PPC, heavy PPC, Streak 6, and a pair of ER medium lasers, 16 double heat sinks. So it's sort of manageable with all that heat that goes with it, but you know, your firepower is slightly different than you normally would carry around with it. My gosh, there are so many versions of the Battlemaster. And then there's the CM, which is from House Carita, 64. It is the C3 command version. This one carries 2 C3 master computers. I've used this one before many times, either campaigns or in the at Gen Con. And that actually is not a bad deal when it comes to you're able to link up an entire company together. In our last game that we just played in our campaign, we had a vehicle that had twin C3 master computers, and you're able to link a whole company together, and you can everybody on the table that's in range can fire on the same target. That's not under an ECM blanket, can just get ripped to pieces really quickly. And then there's the K3, another Korean mech. This came out with C3 technology. This K3 Battlemaster introduced in the same year as the CM version, uses an XL engine. This mech carries an ER PPC, 2 ER large lasers for long-range combat, pair of 4 ER medium lasers, a Streak 6 launcher, and finally the mech carries a C3 master. So this is your Lance commander. So imagine you have 3 Lances or 3 of these guys out there. You got the CM, and then 2 of the K3s running around, and everybody else is linked together. And I've seen this on the table before, especially at Gen Con. And it just tears things up pretty quickly. Unless they have, you look where they don't have the ECM blanket, and you just start tearing things up. Then you got the K4, came out in 3074, same, based on the K3. But this one has 5 improved jump jets that allows it to cover a 150-meter jump, a heavy-duty gyro, and it uses a Gauss rifle, snub-nose PPC, large pulse laser, and 2 ER medium lasers. So basically, imagine you have a, once again, you're looking at a K3, and you throw one of these in with the Lance. So you got a hard-hitting assault Lance. Then you got the M3, not the 3M, but the M3. This C3 command version of the Battlemaster, introduced in 3070, has a light Gauss rifle and 2 PPCs, light PPCs. And then it has an MML5. So basically, you just replace a SRM for an MML. And then it carries 2 tons of ammunition for it. And it's powered by a light fusion engine, and it's protected by 13.5 tons of heavy ferrofibrous armor and case. Alright, and it carries around the M3 also has 2 medium pulse lasers for close range and a C3 master computer for linking everything together. So you're starting to notice that the Battlemaster is being used quite heavily as your command and control type vehicle. And the dual cockpit refits this Battlemaster for the Federated Sun. Preferred mechs for install the dual cockpit. Standard refits usually install the dual cockpit or the B on the Battlemaster 1G, and the 3M removing one heatsink. Alright, so it's one of those mechs that's overly synced, so losing a heatsink for something like that is not a big deal. And the Battlemaster C, this is, hey, here we go, Clan Jade Falcon. This is their version, built on an Indo-Steel chassis, 16.5 tons of armor. So yes, And it's based on the 4S. The Clan Tech variant replaces the Gauss rifle with a Hyper Assault Gauss rifle, 30, 4 tons of ammunition, and all the medium lasers facing front with 4 medium pulse lasers, 2 ER medium lasers. And all these weapons are guided by a targeting computer. And it also has an ATM-6 with 3 tons of ammunition. Ensure its ability to be able to be flexible across the range of the battleship. So, that is a pretty interesting one. And then they have the C2, which is from the Clan Wolf, then the C3, which was used by the Sea Fox mechs as their second line forces. Basically, it's a 3M, but it all has ER medium laser, Streak 6, and ER PPC with twin machine guns, 18 double heat sinks, and a targeting computer. There you go. So that runs through all of the different versions that you have out there, and I've used quite a bit of them. But, you know, that's just the nature of the beast. This is a very long one, but, you know, I have to spend some time talking about this iconic mech because I really like it. And we already discussed how I would change it. It's just some superficial changes on the outside that can easily be done. You're just flipping some weapons forward. You're using your standard ER. Change. All you're doing is changing systems on board. And personally, I'd rather, like I've always said, if I have a choice between using a machine gun or a flamer, I'm always taking the flamer because I don't have to worry about the ammunition blowing up on me and destroying my mech. And it's multi-purpose. You can kill infantry with it by making them do the Bernie dance, or you can heat other mechs up. Yay. It's an optional thing. So that is it. That is the Battlemaster in a nutshell. I hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe. Share with all your friends. And we will see you in the next one. Hellcracks out.